Hello, hello. One more day in the world of crypto and of investing. DeFi, IoT, and I want to talk today about this bear market we're in right now. How long is this going to last? And our reaction to the bear market, what's going on. We talked about areas that we're actually doing last week in our videos. And I want to talk today about how long this bear market is going to last. I've been listening to a lot of different experts and kind of want to relate to you what I'm seeing and feeling about this market, where it's going, and you know, if we figure out how long this market's going to last for, we can kind of figure out our strategies, right? How to get through this market, and what's that mean for crypto and Bitcoin in the long term? What are people expecting Bitcoin to do after this bear market comes out and halving of Bitcoin? Where they expect it to go? All right, let's talk about that right now. So as I go through now at our project, you know, I'm out here now for a while. We're working on our project, trying to get this project sold or refinanced so we can buy our land. We're looking at a couple of different states right now. The problem is the prices keep going up. They're starting to kind of level back out. Now you're starting to see a cool down in the real estate market. So, you know, with our project, the idea was to sell it and have enough money to actually go in, buy our land, build out certain buildings on it, and move all the GPUs there. Because here we're really at the break-even point, but we have our solar panels keep getting delayed. There's more regulation, more permits we have to pull. I should say not more regulation, but there seems to be more rules that keep applying for new hurdles we have to jump over before they put in our solar panels. We're going to put in 86 panels, and I guess it's they don't want us to put that many panels. Anyway, so where do we think this market's going to go? Well, you know, I listened to a bunch of different analysts and experts in this field. A good one to listen to is Coin Bureau. I just really think that they do a really good job, by the way, on what they talk about, what they discover, and what they project, and what they actually base everything off of their analysis and their reports. So the Federal Reserve, a report came out recently, last week, talking about the economy and where they thought the economy was going to go in certain projections and what they felt about cryptocurrencies. Now, the Federal Reserve is different from the Treasury, right? So we have to be careful with that. Well, right now, there's a feeling out there that this bear market, this down economy, could go through a normal cycle would be about a year and a half to 2 years. That would be typical in crypto. But we're not dealing with a normal cycle here. We have to take something in consideration here, is that, first of all, we had this whole idea of being locked down for 2 years, basically, right? Year and a half for lockdowns. So we have a supply and demand issue. In other words, we don't have products out there. Then we finally come out and start getting free again, and then you have these, there's a bunch of different things that took place, like with the financial institutions, etc., them investing in crypto and in Bitcoin, them selling off the recent, big sell-off of Luna, right? And you have to wonder who did that, why did that? They're passing serious regulation now. Some sleeper laws or sleeper bills have been progressing in Europe and the European Union to pass to regulate, but also against cryptocurrencies. So you're having you have these wars. You have the war, Ukraine and Russia, however you want to side yourself on that. But what you have is these sanctions. That's what I want to get to. You have these sanctions now. So you already had a product issue. We have high supply, high demand, low supply. Now we have high inflation go up. We come from one of the best economies ever in the history of the U.S. in 2020. And here we are in 2022, going into one of the worst economies in, 80, 90 years. And it could tank even further. Because what we have is we have this runaway inflation, huge inflation. Let's say a little over 8%. It's really, because they keep changing the basket of goods that they price on, it's really around 15, 16% inflation is. If you go back to the traditional basket of goods. You just get, well, things change, appetites change, yeah, but they manipulate that, right? to make it look like inflation is lower than it actually is. So you have a huge, we're coming off the cuff of a money supply issue. In other words, a lot of money was printed, a lot is out there in supply, which causes inflation. And so they're going to raise interest rates. We'll raise interest rates. You're already starting to see a 30-year loan pushing the upper fives, almost 6%. And that can continue. We could hit 7% this year. So here's what's happening. So the Federal Reserve is going to continue to raise interest rates, try to cool off the market. Well, the market's already cooling off by itself. The reason being is because you have such high prices for actual products, like gas. When you put these anti-fracking laws into place with the World Economic Forum, as well as with the sanctions, with the agendas with the United Nations, the agenda for the 2030 agenda for the World Economic Forum, and with the Biden administration's agenda is Biden-Obama administration, because we're just continuing on what Barack Obama desired in the first place. When he said he saw gas prices pushing $10 a gallon, and he felt that would be necessary for us to make that transition from gas to electric. And that's where they're going with this agenda. Now, the World Economic Forum signed an agreement with the United Nations, so they have teeth now. So this 2030 agenda is not something just out there. They were pushing along anyway, but now they got teeth. They are in bed with the United Nations, as well as the World Bank, IMF, FATF, etc. They're all working together right now. So what's that mean? That means that we're going to continue to have a price issue with gas. That means all products are going to continue to rise in prices. If we continue the sanctions, no matter what, now you have wheat that's going to have a low volume in the market coming out. You have food supply that's already being greatly reduced. So you're going to have prices rise. Inflation is going to continue to rise then, and you're going to have higher prices to get money, right? The banks are going to charge you more to lend money. So businesses are going to suffer. Small businesses are going to close, most likely. Big businesses will make it because they'll get government bailouts and they'll get rescued. And this all fits into the World Economic Forum agenda. Now, you may not agree with that or believe that, but that's exactly what they want to do. And so this is what's being projected by the experts too. This is what they're saying is going to happen. So are we really in a bear market, or was this market forced down? And how long then will allow it to be up? I honestly, personally feel we're not in a bear market. I honestly feel this market was forced to collapse, and it's going to continue to be forced to collapse. So therefore, we have to step back and say, what's going to happen now? Where can I invest? Well, certain stocks, certain companies are favored with this global elites. So they'll benefit. Which ones? You're going to have to do your homework on that. I pulled out of stocks a while ago, and I went into crypto, and I took the other money, and I'm into real estate, and actually going back into the construction. And end of it. So I want to play the real estate game again, where I made my money when I was younger. So I'm going to go back into real estate, into remodeling and developing homes and so forth. But where does that put us in this kind of, what could we be looking at long term? Well, if we go through a normal crypto cycle, we're looking at about a year, year and a half, 2 years to the halving for Bitcoin, right? So what do they think they can go after the halving? Well, projections this time are saying Bitcoin can rise, get as low as $20,000 and go up to $100,000. So what am I doing now? All of this now, when it's on solar, it's just going to pay for itself. And we're going to just put this away. Put it away. I don't like Ethereum, but I think Ethereum has a potential because they're in bed with the governments for a long term. But I'm going to go mostly with Bitcoin and SC Prime. Helium, we have a network already established. We're disappointed right now with Helium, but I think that Helium, it won't shoot themselves in the foot. They need the community, so they'll come back, and they actually have the capacity to do so. Now, I was surprised that they even had to hiccup the hat. They're kind of saving themselves right now, which concerns me some with Helium. So I backed off on Helium, but we're not going to abandon Helium like we are with others, right? For the time being, we'll just let Helium function how it is. We're just not going to grow our network. We're going to grow the SC Prime network with this decentralized cloud data storage, and we're putting more into real estate. Now, look, here's what I'm going to do with my plan. We have this home, has a small home on it for a rental or a vacation home, has a shop, has a barn on it. It's 1.3 acres, up in the mountains, prime area, wine country, just a beautiful area. So we're going to work on that and push the value up. Now, the home market does collapse, which many experts and even a Fed report said that the home market would continue to rise. It would not come down. It might correct a little bit, but I don't feel it's going to, because BlackRock, and part of the World Economic Forum agenda, is to buy them up because they do not want this generation owning homes. They need them codependent on the governments. Like it or not, that's their plan. And so BlackRock is buying up homes. So you're going to see, I don't think you're going to see a whole lot of inventory in the market. The demand is so high, especially out in California and on the West Coast. It's so high in Utah and other areas that the demand can't be met. Plus you got water issues, right? For building new homes. So your existing home market should maintain or actually go up in value because of the products to supplies to build new homes are also going to be more expensive. So no matter what happens over the next couple of years, prices are going to rise. To get a loan now, normally that should come down, right? You should be able to get your loan. If we correct prices lower, and then interest rates start to lower again, so we can get loans again. We kind of fluctuate that market. That's what the whole idea of a central bank is supposed to be. It's supposed to do. That's what the Fed's supposed to do. But this time is different because we just came off of that pandemic. We just came off of 2 years of shutdown, or a year and a half, and now we have the war with sanctions. So supplies are not going to be getting to us, and that's going to be a real issue. Some are saying it could be to the point where some countries are going to rise up in violence. And I'll just tell you something. Ecuador is already planned for the 13th of next month. I think it'll be more after the XaMiner festival for the natives. They are going to rise up probably the 27th and shut down the country because they are not happy with the gas prices and the food prices. But they don't realize the government can't lower it this time for them. It's there. And they should have done something in that year and a half that they were locked down. They didn't fight about it. They were happy to stay home. Now you're going to start seeing that uprising. And we're already got a scheduled one in the native communities. I know because my friends are there, my partners are there, and it's scheduled for June to shut down and lock down Ecuador. So you're already going to start seeing this. And what's that going to do to the economies? It's going to make it worse. So do we plan on this just passing like normal, year and a half, 2 years? I would tell you no. I would tell you that this has the potential to become much worse. And I'm not trying to be doomsday. I know people say, oh man, get a life, you're pathetic. You're always talking about the negative. I'm just trying to tell you what the reality of things are so you can prepare for that and protect yourself. And that's what we do here at DeFi. So do I see there's niches where we can work and what we can do? Yes, there are. And I'm going to experiment it. We're going to go into real estate. We're going to go into land development, especially in certain areas where we see movement going to. I think you're going to see in these blue states, you're going to see a tighter, more tyranny. I think you're going to see more of the freedoms being taken from the people because the government's going to come into rescue. You're going to see the attempt to supplement during this time possibly a digital currency, a digital dollar. That's very real. So I think you're talking about a whole new reset. This is very different, and it's very real. That's what they want to do. This is the agenda. They just met in Davos. We're looking at my forum did last few weeks, and they reviewed this, and they're very proud to say that this is what they're doing, and it's in the process, and they are in control. And that's what they're saying. Klaus Schwab is telling us, the leader of the Davos group. So I think you need to brace for things. First of all, get some food storage. Start building up on foods that will not that can last, have a long shelf life to them, right? I like Mountain House and things like that. You get 20, 25 years out of it. A little more expensive, but it lasts a lot longer. If you can't afford that, just take every check and just start, putting some money away, putting things away, make sure the mice don't get into it, buy some plastic bins, put them in your crypto. Buy and hold. Now's the time to buy. Now's the time to start getting involved. Well, not quite yet for real estate, but soon. You can get involved in real estate. I don't think it's going to correct much in certain areas. Some places, maybe speculation might, but the money is going to be held. There's not a lot of confidence out there right now from what I'm seeing. So the money is going to be held and held in tangible assets, gold, silver, traditionals, real estate, right? So that's where I see it going. I see us that we're going to possibly be in this for maybe even a longer period of time. Year and a half, 2 years, 3 years, a longer period of time. And I see us coming out of this not having the dollar anymore. Or possibly not having the dollar anymore. That will be the effort they're trying to make, or they're going to try to make. They're already trying to make it. They're not hiding that either. Just pay attention to the right news information. You'll hear all the same thing I'm hearing. So I'm not trying to be a doom and gloomer. In this, whenever there's chaos, as we're going through chaos, We don't know. It's not consistent anymore. I've lived in chaos for 20 years of my life. In these countries south of the border, unfortunately, the constitutions don't function. Not to offend anybody, it's the reality of it. And so you don't know. You make big business ventures, and you can't depend on the law to defend those rights or those laws that should protect you. And I lost a lot of money down there. I did. We made money, but I lost a lot of money as well because of that. So that's another reason why we're focusing back in the United States. Though it's not perfect here either, but the laws still protect your investment. So we'll continue to grow our helium and SC Prime south of the border. We will focus now in the construction, development, construction, and real estate investing, fixer-uppers, things of that nature as well, like we're doing now. And here's the thing. If I can't sell my assets, I'll just refinance them and continue to buy, right? And then rent them out. And I'll rent them out. Rental income should not go down. So that's where we're moving right now. So, you know, if you have the ability to rent them, but understand something, being a landlord is not easy. It's a pain in the derriere. It really is. And you got to fix things up. That's what we're doing right now. We have 3 areas where we could rent out. I could make $4,000 to $5,000 a month, cash flow probably $3,000 a month, pull out $350,000, refinance on the project, and buy more to develop and sell in areas where I see mass migration moving to. And I think you're going to continue to see that because of the draconian laws that will continue to be implemented. And you have to think about something. China is saying that there's another variant of this disease, right? And they're locking down. They're still shut down in a lot of areas. And now you have this monkey disease, like monkey virus, coming that's apparently hit the shores of America now. So we need to prepare ourselves for all this. Food storage is really important. I think the metaverse is going to grow. The areas in cloud data storage are going to be something that's going to be very viable going down the road. We're early in crypto. We really are. So there's where I think we're going, guys. And that's not based off of my opinion. That's based off of what many experts feel as well. And I happen to feel that, see that, and have moved quickly into those areas because that was my traditional background in construction and real estate originally. And yeah, DeFi IoT. You'll stay with us. Subscribe to the channel, please. Do me that favor so that we can help you, help yourself going down the road. I don't think it's going to be a typical downturn. I think this is going to be worse in 2008. This is going to be something comparable to 1929. And, you know, there's a lot of evidence that government was behind that 2008 crash and this one as well. And we've seen it. A lot of suspicious activity going on. A lot of movement in Bitcoin and Luna. It's just dumping. Explain that to me. Especially with the agenda in Europe to pass laws in the World Economic Forum agenda to reset the whole economy. Prepare yourselves for the worst, and we hope for the best. So follow us, and I will continue to guide you where we're having successes. We stopped with certain projects. We're not going to experiment a whole lot right now. We're going to let things come out and develop themselves. Find Out Watch was a good burn and a good learning experience for us. I jumped in bed. Find Out Watch. I fit into the whole scenario, the white paper, and you know we know what happened there. So we're not going to do that anymore. We're going to let things met out first, but we're going to go into traditional investments, holding our crypto, knowing long-term crypto does have a huge potential because if they go digital currency, that will track everything you do. We'll be able to find you. We'll be able to expire, limit how much you can save, how much you can spend, where you can travel. They have a tracking device for your carbon footprint too. It will limit you in what you eat, what you travel, etc. That the World Economic Forum announced in this last meeting 2 weeks ago. They announced it. It's real, guys. That's what they're planning on doing, just like in China. Stay with us. We'll guide you through it. We're going to experiment too. We're going to win. We're going to lose. We're going to win in the end. DeFi IoT. We'll talk to you in the next video. We hope you enjoyed this segment of our video with DeFi IoT. Remember, we're not professional advisors. We do this as a business, as a hobby, and we study, we experiment, and we want to share it with you. If you can get some benefit from this, great. What we do is we go out, we purchase with our own money, and we experiment to see what true results are. We want you to be able to share in our experiences so you don't have to lose like we have. If you can win where we've won, fantastic. Remember to do your own research and your own homework. It's very important before you make any decisions. We will see you in our next video.